Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from the Entitled People subreddit. From user Queen of the Moths, who says, actually, expecting me to clean up after my pet makes you entitled. Man, I'm still trying to process an exchange I had this morning. I was sitting on my balcony having breakfast and there was this woman I've never spoken to walking her dog. We don't know her, but my roommate and I see her down there pretty much every day. She's around our age, I would guess, so either in her 30s like us or maybe in her 40s. We've never exchanged so much as a hello up to this point. Now, I really like my apartment complex. It's cute and pleasant to walk around, and the only thing that really sucks is when people don't clean up after their dogs. It's so freaking gross, and I hate when people don't do it. You're a grown-up who made a choice to have a pet. That comes with responsibilities that you have to keep up with. Most people around here do clean up after their dogs that I've seen, so we know it's just a few rotten eggs. If I see people who don't look like they're doing it, I call them out. Which I know comes with risks, but come on people. The response is sometimes defensive, sometimes a bit of twisting the truth like, oh, I was just going to. But they all know that they should be doing it. Anyway, this woman has her dog right by our balcony, and my friend and I were just chatting until I noticed the woman walking away without cleaning it up. So I said in a tone more polite than the situation probably merited, "Excuse me, are you going to clean up after your dog?" And she says in this snide, snotty voice, "No, I'm good, thanks." I immediately burst out laughing, though not the good-humoured kind, because I couldn't believe the audacity. I said, wow, that's really pathetic, which apparently is more than she had expected me to do, because she came marching back. I have to imagine most people don't call this woman out. For her to have that kind of immediate vitriol makes me think she kind of spoiled just in general and was angry I'd embarrassed her. But she clearly knew I was right because she had to come back and double down. So she comes running at us with this kindergarten logic and goes, "I'm not the only one who doesn't clean up after my dog. Lots of people don't clean up after their dogs." And I was like, so? How does that absolve you of adding to the problem? She keeps going on about how other people do it too. So I said, cool, then give me their names, let's have a list because I don't see any of them right now. And she's like, open your eyes and figure it out for yourself. I was like, that's what I'm doing right now. She keeps shouting that she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to, and she doesn't care what I think. So I was like, holy crap, I've never met such an entitled person. It's insane to me that you're getting this angry over someone expecting basic decency out of you. And she says, no, you're entitled. I burst out laughing and said, I clean up after my animals. Me telling you I don't appreciate you leaving messes on our shared property doesn't make me entitled. You're a grown-ass woman who knew what responsibility she had when she got a pet. There are tons of people who don't want to see your dog's crap. You're not the main character. At this point, I feel like this woman has never been confronted beyond her first snarky response, and I have a bubbly and friendly tone normally. So she probably had expected to have scared me or shocked me into silence with that callous initial reaction, because she is practically melting down, trying to upset me while my friend and I laughed. She gave me a snarky, have a nice day, and I wished her the same in an equal tone. Then she waddled off. And no, that's not me calling her fat. She was actually really fit. She just walked in a very exaggerated, cartoonish way like Jessica Rabbit or some crap. I thought she was doing it to be snarky, but my friend said she just always walks like that. We took a short video of her, sadly not of the incident itself as we go to grab our phones, and I plan to take it to the front office just to let them know. It's only step one, I doubt anything will be done with this, but this has been driving me crazy and I'm ready to start holding rude people accountable. Fortunately, I can use the corporate offices if the people here don't start to put pressure on people who are blatantly breaking their lease. It's right in there that you have to clean up after your animals. I'm not trying to get anyone evicted, but I'm hoping she at least feels the pressure to act like a grown-up and take care of her pets. Like, I wouldn't cry if she got a fine or something. Seriously though, It's painful to me that people like this even exist. She was so confident that she was somehow in the right, and that she didn't even try to lie about it. Like, woman, you aren't 12. The other people do it argument isn't going to hold up in court. Lol. Ah, well done for calling that person out. People who don't pick up their dog messes drive me absolutely crazy. And it's just incredibly awful and irresponsible for people to be leaving the mess. As I've said in the past, during like COVID and lockdown, there was a boom of people who seemed to be getting pets round where I live. And at that same point, there seemed to be a lot of irresponsible owners. Obviously not everyone. I'm not painting everyone with the same brush here, but this is just fact of what happened where in the area that I live, surrounded by parks, a lake, but people were just leaving mess all over the place, and it was absolutely grim. Lots of kids around here as well who played on these grassy areas. The potential for diseases to be spread for people is just absolutely unnecessary and grim and lazy of people not to pick up these messes, sometimes right next to the dog bins. It's fucking horrible. I remember one time in my market research job, the building that I worked in was right next to a field, and we had an open door which overlooked the field. Lots of people walked their dogs there, and I remember my manager once, this was an Irish dude who basically spoke his mind 99% of the time and took no shit. He saw someone in the middle of the field, their dog was just having a shite, and they walked away from it. He went straight out with his bag in his hand. He followed them, and he watched them, like death stared them until they picked up this crap and then watched them put it in the bin at the same time. Dude was funny. Unfortunately, he isn't with us no longer, but that moment it was like, yeah, good on you, you know? A Wise article says, it got so bad at our old complex, dogs would poop in the garage and hallway. They took samples from the residents' dogs, and if they found a match, you were fined first strike. You were fined. First strike was the cost of the analysis plus a reasonable fee. Second strike was an obscene amount. Third, you don't get your deposit back plus a fee and your lease was not renewed. You might not have been able to lease at sister complexes. Stardust says, wild. I don't live at a complex, but there's a trail near my house, and I thank my lucky stars they keep trash bags I can grab for my dog now, because before I'd have to grab leaves when I forgot to bring bags, but my brain remembered water and Tupperware to hydrate my dog. I have to get diarrhea poop off the trails with leaves, which is the worst. She has a sensitive stomach, but I can't imagine leaving poop right in front of someone. I'd be embarrassed. Opie says, yeah, there are bag dispensers in 3 spots around the main square, so they don't even have to go back to get them. It's just laziness and entitlement, sadly. But yeah, while things like that suck for sure, there are always instances where they weren't facing that kind of problem. I'm glad you're a good dog owner. I feel like going out of my way to praise people for basic decency when I see it. Kamium says, I share a 3rd floor suite just across the alley from a pet supply. Apparently the distance required to cause most dogs to pee after lapping water from a store doggy bowl in one large store plus one back lane. Because our lawn has a large perennial brown patch at that point. They all sniff it. It's like some sort of jungle telegraph. Oh, Sparky seems well. I'll leave him a note. Who's this alpha male type? I'll show him what I think of that. The grass never grows there anymore, even though I've never caught anyone leaving dog crap. So OP came in with an update and said, so yesterday I posted about having a nasty encounter with a neighbor of mine who was apparently too good to pick up after a dog. She made sure to let me know that I was the entitled one for not wanting dog poop all over the property. She made sure to toss in some classist remarks, expecting maintenance people to clean it up. Someone suggested in the comments that she might be the pathetic sort to come back and intentionally try to provoke us. I thought for sure she wouldn't be that dumb. Turns out, I was the fool for giving her that much credit. But it's a good thing she did, because I got a great video of her. I'm not going to upload it for a number of reasons, but I might if she tries to do it to me. It played out in Entitled Loser 101, to a degree that it almost felt unreal. I can't believe people like this truly exist. She came by, intentionally brought her dog right beneath our balcony this time, and waited. I was like, cool, let's record. So we sit there, she waits for her dog to poop, and she starts to walk away, of course. Proof. Thank you. However, as she walked away, she saw that I was recording and turned back. She started shrieking, "Oh my god, are you trying to record me? You know that's illegal, right? I said, yes, I am. It's not illegal, you're in a public space. She starts yelling at me to mind my own business and that none of this concerns me. I told her that it did concern me because I live here too. And I don't want a poop-covered apartment complex, nor do any of the other residents, I would imagine. She starts yelling at me to mind my own business and that none of this concerns me. I told her that it did concern me because I live here too, and I don't want a poop-covered apartment complex, nor do any of the other residents, I would imagine. She told me I didn't own the complex, like that makes it okay. Do you, Mom? We had a back and forth and she started recording me back, telling me, threatening things like, thanks for exposing yourself, implying that she's going to dox me and put it online. Hopefully nothing comes of that just because I want my privacy. But I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm not worried about it otherwise. When that didn't upset me, as she clearly intended, she started trying to insult me, and it was hilarious. This is probably because of your weight. My best friend and I burst out laughing. She called me a fat bitch, so I started recording again to catch anything else she might say. She told me she was reporting me, and I told her to please do it so they'd know who she was when I report her. It was freaking bonkers. This woman is a nightmare. I'm actually worried this is going to escalate into something even worse, but I guess we'll see. So the second she left, we took the video down to the front office. I showed it to one of the landlords who was appalled. I mentioned the day before and how that had gone down, and I verified that she was indeed breaking her lease. Also, the landlord thanked me for policing people who just leave dog poop behind. She said they've been trying to get people to take responsibility and it's turning into a real issue. After that, she gave me her email and asked me to send her the videos. I did so, and now we'll see how it unfolds. I also told her that the woman threatened to report me, so she may actually call in herself and unintentionally turn herself in. I also mentioned worrying about potential retaliation, so that it's just out there. If she calls the cops, I fortunately have the video so she won't be able to make up anything about me harassing her or something. I've been told to not engage her if she comes back again, but to just contact the office and tell them she's here. I really don't know what to expect. I just want to enjoy a nice morning on my balcony. I'm seriously blown away. All this because someone asked you to pick up your dog's poop. What is this world coming to? Then OP comes in with what they call their final update and says, hey guys, sorry it's been a while. I know a lot of people have been wanting an update. Unfortunately, it's not as exciting as some of you were hoping for, but I'm actually happy with how things went down. So the very next day, Dog Poop Girl showed up again, but this time she didn't come over near our balcony. I don't know if someone in her life told her she was going to get in trouble or what, but it seemed clear she still wanted us to know she was fine with what happened. I emailed the landlords as they requested and said she was outside right now, etc. The office thanked me and I never heard from them again. The next day, a different woman was walking her dog. I thought that was kind of weird, but I figured maybe she hired someone so she could leave that job to someone beneath her. For around a month or two, I think. I can't remember the full timeline. We didn't see her, and we could only speculate. Maybe she lived with her boyfriend here. One of my roomies said she saw her with a guy, and he told her to stop staying over if she was going to cause problems. Maybe she got the fine and threw a temper tantrum and left. I figured also she could just be avoiding our side of the property. It was hard to say, but I was just glad not to have to deal with her. Finally, a couple of weeks ago, I was heading to the other side of the property, and I saw her with her dog, so she's still here. Clearly just avoiding our side of the complex, and that is more than fine with me. No idea what went down throughout that period, and I'm not sure I ever will. I did notice she seemed to have dog poop bags with her this time though. I can only speculate that they caught her, fined her, and told her there'd be more fines after that. I don't know what happened, but they took some sort of action with the dog owners in our building, because I now see every dog owner walking around with bags. The dog poop problem has gotten much better. Maybe knowing their neighbors were watching and tired of their nice walking area being covered in excrement motivated them to be more responsible. Here's hoping it stays at this level. I really don't like having confrontations, but I'm also not really one to put up with other people's crap. Figuratively and literally. I know that some of you people were hoping for a big explosion or some juicy details regarding this woman being put in her place. And The words big explosion and juicy details is just unneeded in a poop story. I'm sorry. I'm personally just glad to not have to see her anymore. She never tried to retaliate, thankfully, and I'm guessing people in her life let her know she was digging her own grave. I actually wonder if part of why she avoids us completely is so that we don't see that she's being forced to pick the poop up now, which is a hilarious thought. If anything else suddenly happens, I promise to update again. But as it is, it looks like this has sort of quietly solved itself. I do kinda wish I knew more details, just out of my own nosiness. But we can at least all be satisfied with the fact that she was absolutely convinced she was in the right, and it blew up in her face. She's probably still awful, of course, but at least someone is holding her accountable. I waited this long to see if anything else happened, but it looks like this might be the end of the story, which I'd honestly prefer. However, if anything comes up again, like I said, I'll let you all know. Thanks for sharing and venting with me while I dealt with a very, very frustrating situation. I appreciated all of your comments and support. Well, what a shit story that was. I'm joking, it wasn't a shit story. I just had to get my little dad joke thing in somewhere, didn't I? I'll get my coat. But I'm super glad for the OP that things are resolved as they can be at this point in time. It's always got to be a bit worrying and unnerving when something happens, like especially like where you live, because then that person knows exactly where they are if they want to retaliate in some way, especially someone who's is wild in this story, is not backing down, thinks they're right, and is willing to keep doing it again and again just to try and wind you up. You never know what they're going to do, so I'm glad things are as resolved as they can be at this point in time, and I really hope you have no further interactions with this person. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. And for this, we're going to stay in the Entitled People subreddit, because why not? I like to visit this subreddit once in a while. This one's from Late Concentrate 9376 and says, a far relative walked into our house without us knowing and acted he was inspecting our house. I live in a house with my boyfriend and my dad. Yesterday, my boyfriend's niece wanted to hang out with me after school, so he dropped her off to hang out with me and told me either him or her mum, his sister, will pick her up. I had to leave for work at 6 p.m. and my boyfriend didn't get off work until 8 p.m. My dad got home around 7 p.m. and was having dinner when my boyfriend's sister came to pick the girl up with her husband. Without a notice, an uncle was there with them too. The sister and her husband were both standing in the living room calling for their daughter. However, the uncle, without asking for consent, walked through our house. It wouldn't be a problem if he stopped at the living room, the kitchen, or the backyard. However, the uncle legit went through the house like he was doing a house inspection and even went straight to my dad's bedroom, my personal bathroom and closet, opened all the room doors and walked through our house inside out and made comments about the house. My dad didn't stop him because he heard it was my boyfriend's uncle and didn't want to be rude. The next day my dad told me and my boyfriend about it and my boyfriend was like, huh? I'm not even that close to that uncle. He's like a far relative. As for me, he's just a stranger to me because I do not know him or ever met him. I just felt too annoyed and uncomfortable knowing a random old man went through my room and looked through my stuff without asking or me knowing about it. I'm just so mad, I swear, if I ever meet that old man again in the future, I don't know if I can be respectful to him like I usually do with older people. How on earth can someone be this rude and obnoxious? I'm still mad thinking about it. Edits. So my boyfriend texted his sister to confront the uncle about it, and he said he was just looking for a restroom and was just checking out the house because he heard we bought it for a cheap price. But again, he could have asked for the restroom instead of walking around opening doors like that. And we as the homeowners were not home to let him have the permission to walk around checking it out like that. Furthermore, he literally lives out of state and only visited for a couple of days. We don't know him like that, and he said he just wanted to see his nephew's new house. I'm speechless because we can't really do anything else since it's already done, and all I could do is getting us a camera and a smart door lock. Now, two things popped into my mind as I was reading that. Maybe they was caring for this uncle and he came round and there's something mentally going on. When OP started saying old man, dementia popped into my head and he just started wandering around the house. There's that. He could be just bloody rude, which is likely the case, of course. Or was he looking around to potentially rob the place? All just speculation and all ideas that popped into my head, just proving it once again that I read too many Reddit stories. Trifle Me Not says, Dad should have never let uncle/burglar through your house without confronting him. No one gets to case my house. Opie says I told him that too, but my dad knows my boyfriend's sister and he didn't expect that dude to do that. Like he was eating in the kitchen and they were only there to pick up the little girl. When he knew what happened, it was too late to even say anything. I was low-key mad at my dad for letting that dude do that. Yeah, I was pretty shocked with the dad's behavior as well. Even if you're like a non-confrontational person, someone going through your bedroom, every room in your house is like, fuck no. Another commenter says, when you finally meet that uncle, it will most likely be at a social function due to you never having met him. So after he's been introduced to you, you just say, oh yeah, you're the perv that came into my house and went through my underwear drawer when I was away, with a laugh. Then crack a few jokes about it loudly. The response from the family will be embarrassment for him at that moment. After they will shame him to bits for the rest of that uncle's life, they are going to watch him like a hawk to make sure he doesn't embarrass them further. You, on the other hand, will look like a saint that was the bigger person and will get a good rep in the family. Win-win for you. Someone else mentioned the dementia to OP and he said he was not having dementia or anything. He's in his 50s to 60s. We confronted him. He said I was looking for a bathroom when he could have asked my dad instead of opening doors guessing which one. He also said, your house looks good for such a good price, so I wanted to check out the house. Like, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck gave you the fucking permission? I told my boyfriend that MF will not step foot in our house again. Someone also said, is the uncle Dwight Schrute. Oh, I love that guy. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. Imagine someone doing that in your house. How would you react to it? Do you have any ideas what the issue could be? Is he just someone rude? Is he possibly casing the joint? Something mentally going on? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care. Nah,